tonight. Businesses in Waskesiu feel the impact as people leave town after a wildfire pre-emergency alert. She was 8 months pregnant when she fled the wildfire in Denair Beach. Now she has a healthy baby girl. And Alberta is North America's measles hotspot. So why is Saskatchewan's case count so low?
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Tuesday, July 15th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. The streets of Waskesiu are much quieter now after a wildfire pre-emergency alert went out over the weekend. But as Aishwarya Duda reports, some businesses in the community feel the alert went too far, and some vacationers are still choosing to visit despite warnings not to.
The skies are a bit hazy and the smell of smoke lingers as winds push wildfire smoke into Waskesiu, a popular vacation destination. People are still out and about, shops are open, but it's much quieter than usual.
I have never been to Waskesiu town site in the middle of July where there's so few people.
Dale and Holly Berg say their hotel told them they could cancel, but they chose to visit anyway.
I guess we're just staying updated, and if there is some kind of an evacuation notice, I guess we're going to have to follow that notice and get the heck out of here. We have a full tank of gas and we're ready to go.
I feel bad for all these businesses because everybody's been chased away.
Parks Canada issued a pre-emergency wildfire alert on Sunday. It's advising anyone who can leave to do so. It's also asking people to not travel to the area, but some say that's causing panic and hurting local businesses. Jason Carroll is a baker and the general manager at the Waskesiu Trading Company. He says business has been cut in half. Carroll says he's not worried about the Buell fire. It's still 33 kilometers away.
I think that it's more of the smoke in that for people who have trouble breathing and stuff like that, asthma and the elderly, stuff like that. But you know, the fire's quite a ways away.
This is prime time now. July and August is when we got to make it or break it. But this fire is hurting us bad.
Brian Morpurgo owns 3 businesses. He's also with the Chamber of Commerce. He says the Parks Canada alert was overkill, especially during peak tourist season.
I was so busy on Sunday gassing people up to get out of town.
We spoke to the incident commander for Parks Canada, and he says while there's no immediate threat, the fire has moved into the northeast corner of Prince Albert National Park and could spread quickly. Parks Canada also says that this alert will help things run more smoothly in the event of a full evacuation. Most cabin owners and hotels are being flexible, offering refunds or rebooking. Others are sticking to stricter cancellation policies, saying they'll only issue refunds if the park shuts down completely. Aishwarya Duda, CBC News, Waskesiu.
Meanwhile, many others in this province have already felt the devastation of this year's wildfires, especially those in Denair Beach. Many there are still coming to terms with losing everything. But for one evacuee from that community, the pain of loss has also come with the gift of new life. Jeremy Warren has that story.
Even with a newborn, Brooke Kindle says she's sleeping better these days. She's been having recurring nightmares about fleeing her home in Denair Beach as a wildfire closes in. But the bad dreams are less frequent since baby Callie arrived.
All night last night dreamt about fires and just the stress of packing quickly and everything. And I have been kind of moving past that and not dreaming about it so much at night anymore.
Kindle was 35 weeks pregnant in May when her family had to evacuate the northern village of Denair Beach. She experienced false labor, likely triggered by the stress, and went into hospital. Just days later, her house and almost everything her family owned burned down, along with much of her community. Now, still displaced in Saskatoon, Kindle has given birth to a healthy baby girl.
I'm lucky. I mean, it's weird to say lucky. My parents' house burned too, so they're here evacuated with us for the next couple of weeks still. So that's been really helpful. But at the end of the day, it's just so many people lost everything. It's just so hard to even comprehend, and I've got such a good distraction with this beautiful baby.
Callie's big brothers, 4-year-old Jackson and Logan, a toddler, are adjusting to their new home in an unfamiliar city. Kendall's husband is fighting fires in the north, but her mom is a big help.
If we would have known that we were walking out for the very last time, I think we would have grabbed a lot more things. You know, the hand-knitted things that my mom made that she can no longer make anymore. Like, that's what hit me the hardest. You know, my keepsakes for my future grandchildren.
The family is intent on rebuilding their home in Denair Beach. Kendall says they can't imagine living anywhere else, but there are plenty of questions about when and how rebuilding will happen.
I just wish that I could kind of hold my baby and snuggle her and, you know, maybe watch a chick flick and eat some ice cream and do the normal things that you do postpartum, where everyone calls and asks, oh, how's the baby sleeping? How's the baby eating? You know, and I really hope that I can find a way to not have this be her story.
If you're wondering, Callie is a decent sleeper and lets her mom sleep most nights. Jeremy Warren, CBC News, Saskatoon.
The province's opposition is calling out the government as extreme drought threatens producers in southwest Saskatchewan. The NDP says it's been a month since they called on the provincial and federal governments to step up. The party's finance critic says there needs to be better programs in place and more support on the ground.
Drought conditions are deep. Feed is non-existent. Water is scarce. And the pressure on farm and ranch families is building by the day.
Saskatchewan Crop Insurance Corporation has implemented a double low-yield appraisal process this year to support affected producers. The Agriculture Minister says that should help farmers salvage the crops they do have. Rainfall insurance is also available to eligible producers, with payments expected as early as this month. Alberta has become North America's hotspot for measles, recording more cases this year than in all of the United States. But it's a different story here in Saskatchewan, as the case count has dropped off and remains quite low. Alexander Kwan reports.
As of July 9th, there has not been a single case of measles reported in Saskatchewan in the previous 21 days. That's in stark contrast to our neighbor to the west. On Monday, Alberta reported more than 1,300 measles cases this year. That is more than the entire United States and far above Saskatchewan's 60 measles cases. The Saskatchewan Health Authority acknowledges the province seems to have been lucky so far, but that some cases have likely gone unreported.
So it is absolutely an expectation that there will be activity going on that we're not aware of from our perspective.
Since 1998, measles in Canada has been eliminated thanks to a comprehensive vaccination program. That's why for many researchers, even just a few years ago, an explosion in measles cases would have been unthinkable.
It's not something that we really think of as being a here problem, but it definitely is now. And it really shows us how quietly effective vaccines are. And then when we kind of go away from using the tools that we have, how brutally things can come back.
Measles is so contagious that given a chance, cases increase exponentially. In some Alberta communities, vaccination rates have dropped well below herd immunity. One expert says that should serve as an early warning to the rest of the country.
There is a very narrow and fleeting window right now to raise those numbers and be able to get other jurisdictions protected before measles gains a foothold in those areas as well.
SHA officials described vaccination rates as a great wall that can keep measles out of communities. Alberta's vaccination rates, depending on the region, range from 63% to 79%. Saskatchewan numbers are much better, being anywhere from 84% to 93%. But still, there's room for improvement. Vaccination remains the strongest defense against measles. Alexander Kwan, CBC News, Regina.
A Regina chiropractor found guilty of sexually assaulting a patient is appealing the conviction. Ruben Manz was accused of sexually assaulting 7 women, all of whom were his patients. A jury at his trial late last year found him guilty on 1 count of sexual assault, not guilty on 5 of the counts, and the final count declared a mistrial. Last month, Manz was given a 15-month sentence to be served in the community. He is now appealing the judge's decision, claiming she made multiple legal errors while presiding over his trial. An appeal hearing is not yet scheduled. Well, a sure sign of summer in Saskatchewan, the canola is in full bloom, painting fields a beautiful shade of yellow. That, of course, is not the only thing that is in full bloom. Berries and flowers are adding to the beautiful color palette across the province, and they have benefited from the rains across at least the southern half of the province these last couple of days here, and could use some sunshine now to keep growing. Riley Lachuk is going to join us to tell us if the south will get some of that sun and if the north will finally get some much needed rain to help douse those fires after the break. Stay with us. A lawyer in Swift Current says he's noticing an unsettling trend. He says misogyny is tearing couples apart. And as Samantha Brace explains, it all stems from content on social media aimed at degrading women.
You've probably come across some misogynistic content online.
If a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man. That's his woman.
Sometimes it's known as the manosphere.
Men must lead.
How do you know he's really masculine? He scares the out of you.
We want a man who acts like a man.
Men aren't men, bro.
And the ideas in those videos are making their way into intimate relationships.
He would make jokes about how many good points Andrew Tate has.
She says her ex-boyfriend would shame her for her appearance, not allow her to speak to her male friends, and would blow up her phone if she didn't respond. A lawyer I spoke to says some of his clients come in after their partners have been radicalized by online content that promotes a very narrow definition of what it means to be a man, along with the false narrative that feminism comes at the cost of males' rights.
Clients come in telling me, you know, my spouse isn't the person that I knew. They're being fed these sort of toxic ideas. Many of which kind of shade over into misogyny and feed into, you know, gender-based violence and family violence, and it's a new and unsettling dynamic.
If this dynamic leads to divorce, it can be a hard case to resolve.
They're often animated by what is a demonstrably statistically false perception that the family courts are biased against husbands and fathers. And, you know, they see this as the fight of their lives.
Professor Neil here on TikTok is known for debunking misogynistic content. He says it's a pretty new concept for married men to get sucked into the manosphere. Influencers like Andrew Tate usually target men who feel rejected by women.
They offer really simple diagnoses to very complex problems. And then their solutions are also very simple too. So what is the problem? The problem is that men aren't men anymore. You know, you got laid off from your job because you are not manly, your boss is not, maybe your boss is a woman. You know, we've let society degrade and devolve. Men do not occupy the space of importance. They do not play the roles that men are supposed to. And if we want to fix it, if we want to solve the problem, men just have to be men again.
He points out how this is just an elaborate sales tactic in order to sell products or attract views.
They are actually creating the problems that they claim to be solving. And I think that we can see that in the examples of these men who are radicalized and become unrecognizable to their partners.
This might be a sign to start talking to your partner about what they're consuming online. While it has led to a breakdown in relationships, some women say it's been a lesson.
I have a lot of male friends, and I have a wonderful, amazing partner. And like, none of them are like that. There are good men. Just gotta find them, I guess.
Well, the skies over Regina, once again cloudy as we've gone through the day Tuesday here. Some peaks of sun, though, popping out. And weather specialist Riley Lachuk is here now to tell us if we're going to be seeing more of that sun in the future. Hi, Riley.
Well, thanks, Ethan. The day certainly dominated in parts of the province by air quality once again, as we have air quality warnings and statements remaining in place. La Ronge down through Prince Albert into that air quality warning. That's where we're looking at that air quality health index in that 10+ range, dangerous conditions to be outside for any length of time. And an air quality statement back in place for Saskatoon down the western edge of the province. This is all because of a shift in winds. And just to give you a sense of where we've come throughout the day, Saskatoon starting the day at a 10+ with that air quality health index reading, dipping to a 2, then by late afternoon back up to an 8 again. That's because of our shift in winds to a more northeasterly flow. High pressure over Alberta, the cause of that, shifting our winds and pushing some of that smoke from fires in northern parts of the province southwesterly down the western edge of the province and into parts of southern Alberta. That also with some instability here along the international border, still competing air masses a little bit here, and that's what's caused things to be a little bit topsy-turvy in terms of our winds throughout the day. So that high pressure shifts and pushes a little bit further south as we get into the morning hours on Wednesday. That is going to lead to sunnier skies than we saw in southern parts of the province, certainly throughout the day today. I know we've seen a mix of sun and clouds for many places, a cloudier sky down through southern parts of the province toward the international border. So a bit more sunshine through Wednesday, mix of sun and clouds again as we get into Thursday. Low pressure along the international border again could give us a few showers for places like Estevan into Rockglen, into extreme southern parts of the province as we get into the next couple of days here. So a bit of a mixed bag, a bit unsettled at times, but some sunshine coming. Unfortunately, though, for northern parts of the province, no real precipitation on the way. In terms of air quality, I know that, like I said earlier, we have seen some shifting and shuffling around of the air quality as this smoke plume kind of shifts around here throughout the next couple of days. As that high pressure system departs, it will push that smoke a little bit more northerly with that shift in winds to more southerly flow as we get through Wednesday into Thursday. And that's going to clean our air up, at least for southern parts of the province. Like I said, though, no real precipitation on the way for northern parts of the province that really need it. Cooler days ahead. Ridge in the jet stream here allowing some of that cooler air from the north in to the southern prairies, so that's going to cool our temperatures down as we get through the balance of the work week. I really don't see a warm-up coming until we get into next week potentially, but we'll have to wait and see for that. So temperatures as we get through the afternoon hours on Wednesday, a little bit cooler still than seasonal for this time of the year. 21 in Saskatoon. Temperatures for the rest of the south hovering around 20 degrees. Buffalo Narrows at 23. A little bit of the warmth in the northern parts of the province. I'll have your 7-day forecast coming up.
All right. Thank you, Riley. Well, some news now from the music industry. A major theft involving a major artist is making waves.
16 carriages driving away while I watch them ride with my fears away.
Hard drives containing unreleased music by Beyonce were stolen during a car break-in. The car was rented in Atlanta by Beyonce's choreographer and one of her dancers. 5 thumb drives, which also contained footage, show plans, and concert set lists, were taken, along with 2 laptops and luxury clothing. The Atlanta Police Department said it has secured an arrest warrant for a suspect whose identity was withheld. Beyonce has been on the road touring since April with her Grammy-winning album Cowboy Carter. The tour wraps up later this month in Las Vegas. TikTok's CEO says the social media platform is hitting a, quote, critical junction for its operations in Canada, and he is asking for an urgent meeting with Industry Minister Melanie Joly. The federal government ordered TikTok to wrap up Canadian operations after a national security review of the Chinese company that owns it. TikTok's 14 million users in Canada will still be able to access the app, but the company's CEO says 350 people who work at TikTok Canada would be out of work, and Canadian content creators would lose support. He adds that shutdown order is out of date because U.S. President Donald Trump is allowing it to keep operating there for now. TikTok is also challenging the order in court. Well, the first round of tickets for next year's World Cup have gone on sale in Canada, and they come at a premium. Single game VIP packages start at $2,500 and up. Canadian fans will get a chance to get cheaper tickets, but you just might have to enter a lottery just for a chance to buy them. 13 games will be split between Toronto and Vancouver, and it all kicks off next June. Stay with us. We have more news for you after the break. Welcome back. The Saskatchewan Roughriders are still licking their wounds after losing their first game of the season to the Calgary Stampeders this past weekend. It was a welcomed return to the practice field as they now prepare for a crucial West Division road game in Vancouver against the BC Lions. The Riders lost the game in the trenches to the Stampeders. The offensive line gave up 3 sacks and multiple pressures, while Stamps quarterback Vernon Adams Jr. had lots of time to pass. But with a new week means a new opportunity for the Riders to get back into the winning column.
Good for us, shoot. I've told you guys at the beginning of the year, you win 4 games, winning's important, but what's more important is who we're becoming in the process, because toward the end of the year, we're going to be a different team. And we're going to see Calgary again, and we're excited about that. We're excited to see them again. And, someday we will, and we'll deal with that then, but we've got a big test this week at BC. It's going to be a lot of fun, great environment, and we know that we're going to need to up our tempo on our game to win this one. They're on a great streak right now. They're playing well.
We're hungry. We're always hungry, and we're always ready to get better. We're never scared of a challenge. We always look at each other, see how we can get better, and we can continue to push the envelope.
It will be a tough test on Saturday night in BC as the Lions have won 2 in a row and are great at home. Kickoff from BC Place is 5 p.m.
So below seasonal temperatures continuing for the balance of the work week, really for much of the province. For Regina, even some single-digit low temperatures as we get through Thursday into Friday morning. Temperatures in the low 20s the next couple days. Bit more sunshine into Wednesday, 22 degrees for Thursday, 24 for Friday, and temperatures remaining below seasonal as we get through the weekend as well. Good chance as we get into the weekend that we'll see some showers, risk of a thunderstorm into Sunday, and then we'll do that again as we get into Tuesday, 21 degrees with a slim chance of showers once again. Through Saskatoon, air quality health index hovering generally around a 4 or a 5 as we get through the afternoon on Wednesday. We'll get a bit more clearing as we get into Thursday. Chance we could see maybe a few sprinkles, but other than that, not a lot in the way of precipitation coming to central and northern parts of the province. 26 degrees at seasonal for Friday, and then we get into some unsettled weather as we get into next week. Ethan, 23 for Monday and only 17 degrees next Tuesday.
Okay, we'll at least hope for some better air quality. Thanks so much, Riley. And that is it for us. For more news anytime, you can head to cbc.ca/Sask or subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel. And of course, you can also download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks so much for watching.